Hey, folks, we're back, and joining me now, Ranking Member House Judiciary Committee, Republican from the 9th District of Georgia, Congressman Doug Collins. Welcome this morning, Congressman. How are you?
Brian, great to be with you. Big morning, a lot going on, but I wanted to spend just a few minutes with you.
I know your office sent us a message what a hectic morning it is. We know that, so maybe I can get a couple quick questions in and quick answers. Sunday,
Yep.
you made news. Let me start here because maybe some of our members don't understand clearly what is a fact witness, because you said the first witness you would like to call is Adam Schiff. He is a fact witness. He has tried to play the role of special counsel. Explain that to our viewers, why you would want to call him, and what is a fact witness?
Well, number one, a fact witness is someone who has direct knowledge of the issue, and the reason that he has become a fact witness in this is he and his staff had contact with the whistleblower. It was interesting enough that he wanted to talk to the whistleblower early on, and then when it found out that a lot of the whistleblower's information was not accurate, then they went to this protection mode. Even the Washington Post called him out yesterday with Free Pinocchio, saying that he's not entitled to anonymity through the law. So that's the first reason he's a fact witness. The other reason is it's his committee. He was in charge of the impeachment hearings. So he should come and actually defend, because he sort of said to himself or said to others that he's the special counsel in this. Well, special counsel Ken Starr had to come before our committee and answer questions from everyone from the president to the Democrats to the Republicans. He ought to be no less required to do the same.
All right, second question. The House Intelligence Committee, Adam Schiff's committee, moved over their report to House Judiciary this morning. One headline I'm going to read: House Democrats release sham impeachment report littered with assumptions and outright lies. What do you make of the report that you were given yesterday, Congressman?
Well, it is a one-sided partisan Democratic hit piece is basically what it is. There's no exculpatory evidence. There's no acknowledgement that many of the comments that are made by Mr. Sunderland and others about quid pro quo were directly contradicted by, guess who? Mr. Sunderland himself. I mean, it's not like he was contradicted by other people. He's contradicted in his own testimony when he said it was a presumption. He just presumed that was happening. Even, Mr. Vindman, I mean, there's all kinds of things to the demand that he even had to retract himself under cross-examination. A lot of these were taken from their opening statements, in which an opening statement is about as perfect as you can get, in your testimony, because it's not challenged. And so once challenged, many of these claims went by the wayside. The interesting thing is, and not surprisingly, the Democrats put nothing exculpatory in there. This was simply a one-sided document. So I would encourage everyone to go online and get the Republican response, which was published the other day, that at least sees that there is two sides to this. This is going to become the first impeachment hearing in history in which the facts of the issue are not just, they're not agreed upon, and they're not just disputed, they're actually downright contradicted.
With about 2 minutes we have left here, it's interesting because we just discussed fact witnesses. The Judiciary Committee witness list, it's ironic to say witness, are for what they're calling constitutional scholars. What do you make of the witness, what they call the witness list today?
I view it as a bad nightmare that I'm headed back into law school today, and I'm looking for a fork to stick in my leg, because this is going to be one of the most boring things that we've had in a long time. The American people will see today that Jerry Nadler had nothing else to do except to take three liberal law professors who had already made up their mind about this president and are going to come and confirm what the Democrats want them to confirm. Jonathan Turley, our witness, is going to say, who happens to be a Democrat as well, is going to say, this is crazy. This is not an impeachable, even if remotely the process is terrible and there's nothing impeachable here. It's going to be an analytic exercise, and we're going to have some, again, it's amazing to me, though, they're more scared of our procedural moves than they are the actual witnesses, and what we're doing. Look, they just had to do something this week, but there's no reason. I'm going to talk about this morning in my opening statement. This is just, again, this is theatrics. This is preparing, because they have no plan for where they're going.
That's what I wanted to close with, because the Washington Times says Republican Doug Collins takes charge in GOP impeachment counteroffense. What do we expect to hear from you this morning, Congressman, as we tune in for your opening statement?
Well, I'm gonna sort of just make the very case of why we're here, and I'm going to talk about the process that has not worked. I'm talking about the fact that the reason that they're going how they're going is that they don't want to deal with one thing: bad facts. They thought they had something. It didn't turn out that well. The American people are seeing that. And then we're going to talk about how this is all developed and laying forth the commitment that this is not something that we should be having. And I think we're going to have an interesting discussion as it goes on today. at least in the first few minutes before it gets completely boring. And because many of these same witnesses, but our side is going to lay out the case that the president did nothing wrong. The president had nothing to be, to be impeached over for any means because he did nothing wrong. President Zelensky, if you want the other side of the conversation, is the one who keeps saying, look, I'm not going to be used by anybody, and I felt no pressure. So those are the kind of arguments you're going to hear today.
Close with your opinion that the president's legal team has chose not to participate. Close with that, Congressman. We know you got to go.
Yeah, they don't. There's no need for them to participate today. What were they going to question? A bunch of legal scholars? I mean, yeah, wow, we can do that on a TV show, or we can do that anytime. This is not. Look, you talk about the furthest thing from a fact witness today is what we're going to see today. The furthest thing is what we need today is to waste a lot of American taxpayer dollars listening to people give their opinions. If people want to hear these folks' opinion, go to law school.
So every time we hear them say that the president is welcome to participate and this is a fair hearing, it's what? That's your closing line, sir.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, there's nothing fair about it. So, but we're gonna get ready to have it. Brian, it's always good to be with you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, Congressman Doug Collins, and I just want to give a quick note before we go to break. The congressman's office yesterday said, you know what, we always love to be on the show, and we appreciate that. But it had to be very brief because he is going in. He's the ranking member. He's going in and preparing, so we thank you for that time. And also, let me just say this in the short time so you know, if you were out there this morning, okay, let me say this. If you are out there this morning waiting for me to ask Congressman Doug Collins about Brian Kemp's pick of Kelly Loeffler as senator and passing over the congressman, I was not going to disrespect the congressman and do that this morning, okay? Why would I ask that question and waste your time and mine for the congressman to say, well, we will wait and then we will be probably releasing a statement or, after the governor makes the decision. So he was not going to. I know he was not going to make any kind of comment to get in front of the governor's announcement this morning, Brian Kemp. So let's leave it at that. Sorry, but he will probably have a comment as soon as the governor is done. And when he does, we know we'll get that and we'll bring that to you. Again, want to thank Congressman, Ranking Member, House Judiciary Committee, 9th Congressional District here in Georgia, Doug Collins. We're going to take a brief break and we're going to come back. We're going to talk about that before we get our next guest on the line.